Dricus Du Plessis always finds a way to get it done. This man is a warrior and a winner. In the main event of UFC 305, I definitely and kind of confidently picked Israel Adesanya to beat DDP. Now, matching their skills, skill for skill, and if you're being objective, I just didn't see this going any way easy for Dricus. In my video predicting this fight, I literally said the best chance of Dricus beating Izzy is by staying on that grappling game plan and using his strength, trying his best to keep Izzy to the ground, getting a position for a ground and pound or a quick submission. And that is exactly what Dricus was going for. In the first round, which was very close, Dricus did attempt several takedowns and he did succeed in some of them, but Izzy, being a very good defensive grappler, was able to stand up. Now, with the striking, it was almost equal, but I think Izzy was landing the cleaner strikes, but DDP ended up dominating with the wrestling. On top of that though, I do think Israel took round one, but it seemed like Dricus was gassing out. Now, if you're being objective, Dricus, in my opinion, took round two, especially with the wrestling. He was more dominant with the wrestling in round two. Now, in the third round, come on, Izzy outclassed DDP on the feet, and it just looked like DDP was gassing out, getting sloppier with his strikes, but he was still landing power shots, Superman punches, overhand lunges, blitzing in. Sometimes he would miss, but surprisingly he would land good shots on Izzy and rocked him several times, but Izzy dominated that round on the feet. Now, going into round four, things started looking bad for Dricus. He looked even more tired, like he was gassing out, but he was still landing power punches. But Izzy was literally piecing him up on the feet, developing a hematoma by the side of his head, beating Dricus up. But Dricus had heart and that winner's mentality. He kept trying to go for the takedowns. He wouldn't succeed. Izzy would defend it, keep it on the ground, and keep striking. I do believe in the middle of the round, he kind of landed a heavy shot to Izzy. I don't know if it was a knockdown or if Izzy tripped on his foot. I don't know. But Izzy went to the ground and got back up. And then almost at the end of the round, Dricus landed a power shot. Izzy went to the ground. It wasn't really a knockdown, but he backed up, kind of ran away, and Dricus caught him, took him down, and submitted him quickly. Like just when you started feeling comfortable that, okay, I think Izzy is having this win in the bag. In the fourth round, Dricus found a way to pull it off. He surprised everybody when he fought Whitaker and pulled it off. Before that, he used his sloppy boxing and kickboxing style to defeat people like Derek Bronson and Darren Till. It's like one way or the other, he just finds a way to pull it off. I really did feel like a lot of people who were picking Dricus to beat Izzy were just doing that because they didn't like Izzy, and I still believe that. But now you just gotta know that everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, because it doesn't matter what you see on paper. Sometimes heart is what you go by, and Dricus has heart. He has winner's mentality. I think Izzy looked good in this fight. In my opinion, this was actually one of his best performances. I wouldn't say his best. He's had way better, but I don't know honestly if the time off helped him or not. I really don't know, but I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, Izzy wasn't himself or he didn't perform well. I think Dricus beat one of the best versions of Israel Adesanya. I do think Israel Adesanya may be past his prime. Like I said, it wasn't his best performance, and he's definitely, reaching that age where no matter what, you just can't hang on to that shine you once had. But he's still up there, still one of the best strikers in the middleweight, one of the best strikers in the UFC, and a legend, a Hall of Famer. But Dricus found a way to defeat this guy. Now, at the end of the fight, Dricus did apologize for coming off wrong with the whole African stuff, which was pretty cool. He's just champion mentality, and I respect Dricus. He carries himself with class and just has that gentleman mentality. Him and Izzy did squash the beef at the end, and I like that he did say no matter who won that night, an African won. So all that irrelevant, bullshit, childish conversation about the real African is squashed and done. I do appreciate that. Now, I don't know what's next for Israel Adesanya. He took his gloves off like he was about to retire, but he definitely isn't, as he said exactly that. But hats off to him. He's still one of the best strikers in the UFC and arguably the second best middleweight in the UFC. Now, the funniest thing of tonight is Alex Pereira making a post saying he is coming down to 185 one more time. It looks like Alex is trying to slide for Izzy. I mean, now they're cool, they respect each other, they don't have a beef. So he's trying to get that revenge for Izzy. But this is crazy because I am never picking against DDP again, regardless of what on paper stats say. But at the same time, I also promised myself I am never picking against Alex Pereira. So that's going to be really interesting. Although I'm very sure it's not going to be happening anytime soon though, as Alex Pereira is already set to fight Khalil Roundtree at UFC 307, which is just ridiculous. But I'm going to save that for another video. For the co-main event, Kai Kara-France versus Steve Erceg, I did pick Kai Kara-France. Another one of my confident picks. Now, I like Steve Erceg and I was rooting for him, but I feel like a lot of people just acted like Kai Kara-France's skills and his resume didn't exist. I mean, he made it look easy. Steve Erceg approached this in a weird way, trying to really show his power immediately to Kai Kara-France, forgetting that Kai Kara-France is definitely a good striker as well, a well-rounded fighter. So he got an early knockout, put Steve Erceg out, made it look easy, and I do think he will give Pantoja a serious problem if that's the next fight for him. Now, Mateusz Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. Oh my god. This was actually the upset of the night. Dan Hooker is a dog. This guy is a fighter, a warrior, a madman. The funny thing is Mateusz Gamrot was actually putting it on the feet in the first round, which was really surprising. It looks like what he said at the press conference, he really did mean it. He was putting it on Dan Hooker, and then even of course on the ground he was better. So I do think he won the first round. The second round, Dan Hooker just came back, dominated with the striking and tried to keep it on the feet, and Dan Gamrot knew, oh yeah, I am also a wrestler, and then tried to take it to the ground, but that didn't work. The third round was really close, but Dan Hooker ended up stealing the fight. That was such a good fight. I mean, this guy Dan Hooker just beat the number 5 lightweight in the division, so he can really call the shots on a lot of things here. A lot of things are going to be exciting, man. The lightweight division is just fantastic. The fight before that, Tai Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Man, Jairzinho looking like Leon Edwards of the heavyweight, man. He keeps looking better. He knows exactly what to do. His fight IQ is getting way better. Tai Tuivasa fought decently, but I feel like now he was always a brawler, just going in there, swinging and banging, trying to get you out early. But now he's at that stage where, okay, he's wanting to fight, patient, having a game plan, having some fight IQ and all that. But I just feel like it's too late to make that change. So it's not really translating well, especially in the heavyweight division. I do believe he's on a 4 losing streak right now, so I don't know what's next for Tai Tuivasa. I'm a fan of him, but man, Jairzinho is a serious guy. He knows exactly what to do. He's a good counter striker, and he's only up from here. The fight before that, Li Jiliang versus Carlos Prates. Man, another pick I got right. I knew Carlos Prates was gonna knock Lee out. I feel like Lee is kind of on a decline right now, but that's not even fair because he looked good. He was throwing power shots as well, but it just looked like Carlos Prates was on a whole different level. This guy reminds me of Anderson Silva. He's like the new Anderson Silva with more power. Like, he was picking his shots. I think he knocked Lee down about 5 times in that fight, like throughout, like from round 1 to round 2, and then Lee just couldn't take it anymore, and Carlos just landed a power shot and took him out bad. But overall, the card was decent, not the best pay-per-view, but in my opinion, the main event, Dricus versus Izzy, was actually one of the best fights in the year so far. It was back and forth. They put in their all, they displayed all their skills. It was just that tactical fighting versus brute strength and heart. Man, again, hats off to Dricus Du Plessis. He is the middleweight champion and still the African champion, the African fighter, and respect to him, man. This is me officially saying I am never picking against DDP again. He always finds a way to get it done. But yeah, that was my recap for UFC 305. Like I said, decent card, better than it looks on paper, but not one of the best cards I've ever watched. But I did have fun, a lot of good finishes, a lot of good fights. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.